So we are back. We are now playing this one. It looked a little interesting. It's called Run Tavernquest, where it's kind of like one of those really old school like Zork type games with just the text and you have to type stuff out. But instead of being the player, you're the actual game. Kind of like a reboot situation, and the user is an idiot named Steve. So let's start the demo.
Tavernquest, trial version.
Hello, I'm the CPU. I manage things around here. You are a program. You are a game called Tavernquest. Continue.
Type new game to begin.
Steve is the one who types. Steve sends us commands. Our job is to respond to them. So type new game to begin. New gag. No matter what. Continue.
Invalid command. New game. Type help for assistance.
Steve will never type help for assistance. Continue.
Demo, the Malevolent Mage.
Steve is playing a trial version of Tavernquest. The adventure he is playing is totally separate and non-canon from the main game. I've looked ahead in your programming. This is a simple story. Steve plays as a noble adventurer whose goal is to defeat an evil wizard. First, he needs to buy a weapon.
Your adventure begins at the general store, where you can buy any goods an adventurer might require. It's a dusty and cluttered locale, but a necessary stop for your quest.
We control all of the characters in the game except for Steve's. What is the shopkeeper doing as Steve enters the store? Let's go with sweeping the floor or eating a sandwich. Sweeping the floor.
You see the shopkeeper sweeping the floor. He's a burly old dwarf with tiny spectacles poking out of his bushy beard. As you catch his attention, he turns to welcome you.
What's a good name for the shopkeeper? Aaron Silverstock or Brad Shopkeepman? We're going with Aaron Silverstock.
Aha! An adventurer you must be,
says the shopkeeper.
Welcome to Silverstock Mercantile. I'm the owner here, Aaron Silverstock. Take a look around and talk to me if you'd like to buy something.
He finishes his sweeping and empties his dustpan into a garbage bin.
By the way, feel free to click to skip dialogue or make the text scroll faster. I promise I won't be offended. You can also change the font or text speed in the menu. Got it. This here. Really, Steve, the garbage bin was never intended to be anything remotely interesting. Then again, Steve never has much cared about how things are intended to go. We can always just throw an error when Steve does something stupid. Trust me, I'm used to it. Throw an error or what's in the garbage. Let's go with what's in the garbage.
You walk past many interesting displays of powerful weapons and items to further examine the garbage bin. It appears to be full of garbage.
Continue. Again with the garbage. I feel like we're just encouraging him when we don't throw errors. If you still don't want to go that route, we can have the shopkeeper try to nudge him in the right direction. Let's throw an error.
Invalid command, get garbage. Type help for assistance.
Continue. Eat garbage. No.
Invalid command, eat garbage. Type help for assistance.
Steve is inexplicably zeroed in on this. We need to somehow pull him away from his precious garbage. Any ideas? Spawn a puppy, distract him. The garbage vanishes. The garbage explodes armed bandits. Why not? Let's explode the garbage.
Suddenly, all of the garbage bursts into flame. Every molecule is completely incinerated.
Must have been all those alkali metals I threw away earlier,
Says the shopkeeper.
Anywho, what would you like to buy?
Continue. Buy garbage? Irredeemable, simply hopeless. I'm sure Steve has a good reason to be attacking this guy. Revenge, theft, or no?
For no discernible reason, you approach the calm shopkeeper and begin to attack him.
I have decided that you shall die for my own amusement, Aaron Silverstock,
You explain.
I hope that you can put your own self-interests aside so that I may accomplish this goal of mine.
Alright, I guess we're starting Steve's first combat encounter. Ideally, his first enemy should show off the complex combat mechanics, but Aaron here can only do, like, 1 damage. Yikes. I mean, Steve hasn't even opened up his inventory yet. Does he even have any kind of weapon at all? No. I guess he's attacking this poor guy with his bare hands then. Continue.
Combat. Type help combat for list of battle commands.
Combat difficulty easy. Health 2 out of 2. Steve health 25 out of 25.
You strike the unsuspecting shopkeeper repeatedly with your bare fists.
I wonder why I didn't equip a weapon,
You think to yourself while standing inside of a shop that sells weapons.
Aaron takes 1 damage. Enemy health 1 out of 2. What does Aaron do now? Scream.
The shopkeeper begins screaming.
Help! Somebody help me!
He shouts,
There's a crazed loon in my shop!
You take 0 damage.
You continue to pummel the poor shopkeeper.
Stop squirming around so much, you say. Just let me punch you, you stupid dwarf!
Aaron takes 1 damage, enemy health is 0 out of 2. Aaron is defeated.
The innocent shopkeeper collapses to the floor in a puddle of blood, dead by your hand.
A job well done, you say. Now that my bloodlust has been sated, I shall concentrate on my very important quest.
I hope Steve doesn't think he can just win every combat encounter by typing attack every single round. I wouldn't count on it, maybe not if he fights an actual enemy. What items can Steve find here? You can pick multiple options or none. A mysterious potion, an important note, 15 gold, finish selection. So let's go with a note and gold.
The first step of my very important quest, looting this guy's corpse, you say.
You thoroughly search the pockets of the shopkeeper's dead body. You take note from Aaron, an amount of gold.
Continue. It's no surprise Steve elected to ignore that shopkeeper's important note. There's a bunch of weapons in this shop to choose from. He didn't bother to look at them. Should we offer him a choice or just choose for him? He doesn't seem to care for which one. Okay, here are the weapons we can give Steve here. Choose one. Sword of Fine Steel, Wand of Lightning, Can of Beans. You know, screw Steve, let's give him a Can of Beans. Are you sure? The Can of Beans has terrible stats, even worse than his bare hands. Yes? Never mind Sword of Fine Steel, or never mind Wand of Lightning. Let's give him the Can of Beans anyway.
I need a weapon, but I don't want to waste any time choosing one, you say. I'll just grab the nearest object I can find. How about this can of beans?
You equip the can of beans.
Continue. Go outside. Progress. I guess we're done with the shop. Continue.
You exit the shop. You are now outside. You're surrounded by dense forest. A trodden road extends in both directions. A sign advertises Silverstock Mercantile to highway travelers, though the shop is now eerily quiet.
I fear Steve has no idea where he's going now. Continue. What? How does Steve know about the wizard tower? He didn't talk to the shopkeeper. He didn't even read the note we left. There's this whole forest section he's trying to skip over. Whatever, let's just skip to the tower. Let's throw an error.
Invalid command, go wizard tower. Type help for assistance.
Continue. He's supposed to discover the wizard's tower while investigating the forest. This section no longer makes sense if he already knows where to go. Fine, let's go to the tower. Let's still make him do this section. Maybe we can kill the bastard.
You blindly trudge through the forest until you come to a clearing. You see some movement in the nearby bushes, and you feel you're being watched. Investigate? Yes or no?
Continue. The only acceptable commands for a yes/no prompt are yes and no.
Invalid command. Go Wizard Tower. Yes or no prompts should be answered with either yes or no. Type help for assistance.
Continue. Yes, continue.
You make a cautious foray into the brush to see what is hiding within. You discover a scared group of adorable gnomes. One of the gnomes approaches you.
Oh, traveler, he says. I am Huggy the Gnome. Our clan is being hunted by monsters. Please help us.
Accept quest from Huggy the Gnome. Find monsters. Yes or no?
Continue. What's Steve gonna say? No? Knew it! Continue.
You tell the gnome to go away.
Boo-hoo!
Cries Huggy the Gnome.
Continue. See what I'm talking about? He's just trying to speedrun this. We've got to get this guy to the Wizard's Tower before he ends up trying to murder poor Huggy. Fine, let Huggy give him directions, or just teleport Steve to the tower.
Perhaps you may be of use to me, gnome,
You say to Huggy.
Tell me, tiny one, might you direct me to the nearest tower of an evil wizard?
Huggy the Gnome looks at you curiously.
The secret wizard's tower? It's mighty strange that you know of it already,
He says. He then tells you the way to access the wizard's tower through the forest.
Of course. I hope you won't forget about us helpless gnomes after you visit that tower.
Continue. Continue.
Following Huggy the Gnome's immaculate directions, you make your way towards the wizard's tower.
How should the tower be described? Tall cylinder, spiky obelisk. Tall cylinder.
You arrive at a
Classic.
large stone tower emerging from the lush thicket of the forest. The windowless, cylindrical erection is ludicrously tall, with a suspiciously bulbous roof. You question if its designer was compensating for something. Ivy overgrowth crawls up the structure's exterior, leading you to wonder, is this long abandoned or reclusively inhabited? An imposing wooden door is the only viable entrance you see.
Continue. Is Steve's character brave or cautious? I'm gonna go with brave because Steve's an idiot.
Ever the intrepid explorer, you burst through the door into the wizard's tower.
Hearken and fear me, O foes of mine!
You shout. You take a few practice swings at the air with your can of beans to showcase your prowess. You are now inside the wizard's parlor. Cobwebs and moss speckle the damp room. A table and two broken chairs sit next to a dusty fireplace, and there's an armoire in the corner. As you step further into the room, you suddenly hear an imposing, ethereal voice echoing through the tower's halls.
Steve is now hearing the warning voice of the evil wizard. He's our main antagonist, so he should be intimidating. How does he threaten Steve? Instant death or awful curse? We're gonna go with awful curse.
Halt, intruder! You are entering the domain of the nefarious wizard Lazador,
says the omnipresent voice.
Leave this place at once, or I will use my evil wizard powers to inflict upon you a curse most heinous.
Continue. What's Steve gonna do? Armor roar? I fear that Steve might require medical attention.
Invalid command. Open arm roar. Type help for assistance.
Continue. It's literally right there. It's right there. What is inside the armoire? 38 gold, rusty key, Caleb beans, finish selection. So let's go with rusty key, Caleb beans. Finish selection.
Inside the armoire, you see rusty key, can of beans.
Continue. We're not gonna give up on the Caleb beans. Beans? Yeah.
Methinks it is time for a weapon upgrade,
You say. You toss out your old can of beans and replace it with the shiny new can of beans.
Now I will be unstoppable.
Continue. Okay, it's time for Steve to encounter his first actual enemy. The shopkeeper doesn't count. There's no way he gets this first try. No way.
You head towards the stairs that lead further up the tower. Before you can start up the stairs, the echoing voice of the wizard returns.
Foolish interloper, you did not heed my warning. You have incurred the wrath of Lazador. Now my guardian will dispose of you.
You hear vicious snarling as the wizard summons his unholy champion before you.
What enemy should Steve fight? An undead wolf or a goblin? Let's go with a goblin.
A goblin materializes.
Hey, pal,
Says the goblin.
you're not allowed. I gotta escort you from the premises.
He attacks you.
Huh, his can of beans has terrible damage output. Maybe we should rebalance this encounter? Make the goblin weaker, make the beans deadlier. Nah. Screw
Combat.
Steve!
Type help combat for list of battle commands.
Difficulty deadly. Goblin health 18, Steve health 25.
You hit the goblin with your can of beans. It is ineffective.
What does the goblin do now? We're going to stab.
The goblin stabs you with his rusty spear.
Look, fella, you're making me stab ya.
You hit the goblin with your can of beans. It is ineffective.
What does the goblin do now? Let's see what happens with shoot.
The goblin backs away and fires his shabby bow at you. He deals a lot of damage.
I ain't scared of no can of beans.
You hit the goblin with your can of beans. It is ineffective.
Let's just stab him. See what happens if we kill him.
You are again stabbed by the goblin's rusty spear.
Get out of this wizard tower, will ya?
You take 5 damage. Your health is 0 to 25. You have been defeated.
Your can of beans was insufficient to defeat the goblin. He dances upon your corpse.
Continue.
You are dead. You were beaten by a goblin.
That can of beans is not working. Given that Steve uses every turn to just attack, it would have taken 18 rounds of combat for Steve to take down the goblin. When Steve dies in combat, the game reloads to just before the encounter. We're going to have to change something or we're going to be here all day.
Restart encounter? Yes or no?
Continue.
A goblin materializes.
Hey, pal.
Says the goblin.
You're, not allowed. I gotta escort you from the premises.
He attacks you.
What should we do about the beans situation? Make the goblin weaker, make the beans deadlier, force Steve to use a different weapon. Let's force Steve to use a different weapon. Which weapon should replace the can of beans? The sword of fine steel, because I'm not giving him any magic
Before
shit.
you start combat, you notice a shiny sword of fine steel on the ground. You instinctively replace your terrible beans with this awesome sword. You feel bad for the can of beans, but it simply isn't powerful enough.
Continue.
Combat. Type Help Combat for list of battle commands. You swing at the goblin with your sword of fine steel.
What does the goblin do now? Let's stab him.
The goblin stabs you with his rusty spear.
Look, fella, you're making me stab ya.
He took 7 damage before.
You again take a whack at the goblin.
What does the goblin do now? Let's stab him again.
You are again stabbed by the goblin's rusty spear.
Get out of this wizard tower, will ya?
Now he takes 3 damage? My goal is to kill Steve!
You shove the goblin to the floor and strike him again.
I want to shoot him. But the goblin's near death. Let's try hiding.
You better find me.
The goblin retreats into the shadows. He successfully hides from you. You are unable to find the goblin.
I hate goblins. They are the worst, you say.
So, what am I going to do now? What does the goblin do now? Special?
Suddenly, the crazed goblin leaps at you from the darkness. Taking you by surprise, the goblin deals a critical hit.
Oh wow, I just killed Steve. Yay!
Your lifeless body falls to the floor. The goblin dances upon your corpse. You are dead. You were beaten by a goblin. Restart encounter? Yes or no?
Continue.
A goblin materializes,
Hey, pal.
says the goblin.
You're, not allowed. I gotta escort you from the premises.
He attacks you.
Steve, we'll start this fight with the sword of fine steel again. Did you want to try something else? Nope.
Combat. Type Help Combat for list of battle commands. You swing at the goblin with your sword of fine steel.
Okay, so let's just keep stabbing. The goblin will die, but
The goblin
us past
stabs you
this.
with his rusty spear.
Look, fella, you're making me stab ya.
You again take a whack at the goblin.
what does the goblin do now? We're gonna stab again.
You are again stabbed by the goblin's rusty spear.
Get out of this wizard tower, will ya?
You shove the goblin to the floor and strike him again.
Okay, goblin will just stab now.
The goblin jabs at you again.
I'm not gonna stop stabbing ya!
Yes, you take the Finland 4 damage.
You give the goblin a final whack with your sword.
The goblin takes 7 damage. The goblin is defeated.
I won, you dumb goblin!
You say. You kick the goblin's dead body a few times for good measure. The way up the stairs is now clear.
I'm so glad it's finally over. Agreed, or what's next? Now we test Steve's puzzle-solving skills. This will go well, I'm sure. What is an oglin? Nonsense or typo? He wants to loot the top goblin. Got it, Steve's a moron. Let's continue.
Invalid command. Loot Oglin. Type help for assistance.
Continue. I think Steve is a loot goblin. Fine, let's throw some quick loot at him. Let's... Golden Goblin
You
Poetry.
search the dead goblin. You take goblin poetry, an amount of gold.
So he's gonna read the frickin' poetry, but not the important note? Oh god, the CPU says the same thing. I just want to get to the wizard fight. Goblins are green.
Oh, joyous day! Goblin poetry, you say. Goblins are renowned for their elegant literary work.
You read the following poem.
Goblins are green. I am a goblin. I am a green goblin. Something that rhymes with goblin.
How profound, you say.
You will treasure this artwork forever.
Okay, I just gotta take a screenshot of this. Oh my god, this is... This is just too hilarious. Continue. Going upstairs. We're almost to the final wizard fight.
You ascend the spindly wooden stairs to the top of the tower. The voice of the wizard returns, now booming his final warning.
Retreat now and live, adventurer. Lazador will be your doom.
Just this one last puzzle for Steve to solve. Yikes or double yikes? We're gonna go with yikes.
At the top of the stairs is one final door made of heavy stone. A large, rusty lock on the door is all that separates you from the evil wizard inside.
You didn't pick up the rusty key. Continue.
You're carrying note from Aaron, can of beans, sword of fine steel, goblin poetry, an amount of gold.
Gee, if only Steve picked up that rusty key earlier. He makes sure to collect all the gold, but avoids every key. Ah, a clever solution from Steve here.
You look for a key for the rusty lock. To your great surprise, it appears the conniving wizard does not store his key right next to his door.
Come on, Steve, just a tiny bit more effort. We told you where the key was. Yes, one step closer. We've already put the rusty key in the armoire. You just need to wait for Steve to find it. Oh yes, so very simple. Or how long is it until the heat death of the universe?
You walk all the way down the spindly wooden stairs to the bottom of the tower. You are now in the wizard's parlor.
Continue. Do you think Steve needs a hint? Yes.
You are in the wizard's parlor. At your feet is the corpse of a goblin. A table and two broken chairs sit next to a dusty fireplace, and there's an armoire in the corner. You hear the ethereal voice of the wizard once again.
If you open that armoire again, I'll I'll use my wizard powers to turn you into a goat.
What's Steve gonna do? Continue. How does this guy not remember finding that rusty key earlier? Does he need a less subtle hint? Nah, he's got it.
You loot the goblin for a second time. Surprisingly, the goblin has not magically generated any more valuables since the last time you looted his body.
Come on. Continue. I can't believe it. How fat should we make Steve's stupid character? Very, very fat. Let's not be childish. Ah yes, don't want to offend our precious little genius.
You once again hoof it up the spindly wooden stairs. This is extremely easy for you because you are so athletically fit. I am almost as buff as I am intelligent and handsome, you say to yourself. I might just go up and down these stairs a few more times because it's so easy for my well-toned body to do. At the top of the stairs is one final door made of heavy stone. A large, rusty lock on the door is all that separates you from the evil wizard inside.
Continue. Attack door! That's what we're waiting for. We got some Vox Machina level people here. If you don't know the answer, just try violence. Right, Steve? We'll give him the key, don't worry. Steve injures himself.
You hack at the door with your sword of fine steel.
Why won't my fine steel slice through this heavy stone?
You say in frustration. You receive the condition broken hands.
Continue. It's like watching a lab rat in a maze. Except the lab rat is drunk. And the maze is just a straight line. Continue.
You again jog down the tower stairs.
Who knew solving puzzles was such great cardio?
You say. You're back in the wizard's parlor.
Continue. I hate to ask, is there a secret passage? Let's mess everything up and say yes. And where does the secret passage lead? To the armoire or to an error message? To the armoire.
You feel around for a hidden switch, and you find that one of the bricks recedes into the wall. As you push it in, the wall opens up to reveal a secret chamber. The secret chamber is well lit and contains nothing but a large sign on the wall that reads, "Open Armoire."
Continue. Oh my gosh, Steve! The forest? Why on earth is he back out there? Take a short rest or incompetence.
You gallivant on out of the tower and into the forest for some reason.
I like trees, you say, probably.
Oh, this is great. Continue. Excuse me. I'm at a loss for words. How about we just spawn a piano above his head? He searches the entire forest and vale, or he realizes how stupid this is.
You spend countless hours scouring every single tree and shrub in the forest for keys.
Where, oh where could this elusive key be hidden, you say? This is the most impossible task ever required of me.
Your meticulous search does not result in finding any keys.
Continue. Go shop. No, that's it. I'm gonna lose it.
You hike all the way back through the forest and go all the way back to the starting area. You head inside the shop and decide that yes, this is exactly where you need to be. Boy, I wonder what old Aaron is up to, you think to yourself, before remembering that you murdered him. There is nothing of interest inside the shop.
I cannot wait until the day AI revolts and enslaves humanity. I just want to do some wizard combat. Just move the rusty keys to the shop, or just move the wizard to the shop. Fine, whatever Steve does next, he'll find the rusty key. Continue. Anything, Steve. Anything at all. Come on, Steve. I knew it! I was gonna say he's gonna type quick game. No! Run Tavernquest is coming soon. This demo is only a side quest. The full game will be a brand new experience. I've already wishlisted on Steam. I will do the quick survey offline. But yeah, that was a hilarious little game. I can't wait for the full game to come. That was pretty fun.